If you're in your 60s or beyond and suddenly finding yourself forgetting words mid-sentence, walking into rooms and forgetting why you're there, or struggling to follow conversations like you used to, you're not losing your mind. You're experiencing menopause brain fog, and it attacks your cognitive abilities in a very specific, predictable pattern. Here's what most women don't know. Brain fog doesn't affect all areas of your thinking equally. It targets 4 specific cognitive areas first, and understanding this pattern is the key to fighting back and regaining your mental sharpness. The women who recover their cognitive clarity fastest are the ones who recognize these early warning signs and take targeted action. In this video, we're going to reveal exactly which areas of your brain are hit first by menopause brain fog, why this happens, and most importantly, how to protect and restore your cognitive function so you can feel sharp and confident again. Before we dive into these 4 areas, let's be clear about something important. Menopause brain fog is real. It's not just aging, and it's not permanent. Research shows that up to 60% of women experience cognitive difficulties during their menopause transition. And for many women, these symptoms can persist well into their 60s and 70s. The good news is that your brain isn't broken. Estrogen loss affects specific neural pathways in predictable ways, and when you understand which areas are hit first, you can take targeted action to protect and restore your cognitive function. Let's explore exactly what's happening in your brain and how to fight back. The first area that menopause brain fog attacks is your ability to retrieve words quickly and speak fluently. You know exactly what you want to say, but the words just won't come. You might find yourself saying, "You know that thing," instead of the specific word you need, or you'll be mid-sentence and suddenly lose the word you were reaching for. Estrogen is crucial for maintaining the neural pathways that connect different language areas in your brain. When estrogen levels drop, the connections between your vocabulary storage and your speech production centers become less efficient. It's like having a library where someone keeps moving the card catalog. You know the information is there, but you can't access it quickly. Meet Eleanor and Margaret, both 71. Eleanor started noticing that during conversations with her book club, she'd know exactly what she wanted to say about a novel, but couldn't find the right words to express her thoughts. She'd end up saying things like, "The main character was, the feeling when you're sad but not really sad," instead of melancholy. It was frustrating and embarrassing, especially since she'd always been articulate. Margaret experienced similar word-finding difficulties, but recognized them as hormone-related brain fog. She started doing daily word games and verbal exercises, and within 3 months, her verbal fluency had significantly improved. This isn't just occasionally forgetting someone's name. Everyone does that. This is a noticeable pattern where you consistently struggle to find words you've used easily your entire life. You might describe things in roundabout ways because you can't access the precise word you need. Family members might notice you using simpler vocabulary or seeming less articulate than usual. When word retrieval becomes difficult, many women start avoiding conversations or social situations where they need to speak articulately. This can lead to social isolation and decreased confidence, which actually makes the problem worse because your brain needs verbal stimulation to maintain these pathways. Studies show that verbal fluency, specifically the ability to quickly retrieve words from memory, is one of the most consistently affected cognitive domains during menopause. Women often score lower on verbal fluency tests during perimenopause and early postmenopause compared to their premenopausal baselines. Practice verbal exercises daily. This includes doing crossword puzzles, word association games, reading aloud, and having regular conversations that challenge your vocabulary. When you can't find a word, don't give up. Keep working to retrieve it rather than using substitute phrases. Consider joining discussion groups or book clubs that require articulate conversation. Don't panic when this happens. Your vocabulary isn't disappearing. The pathways to access it are just temporarily less efficient. With targeted practice, most women see significant improvement in word retrieval within 2 to 3 months. The second area that brain fog attacks is your working memory, your brain's ability to hold and manipulate information in the short term while you're using it. This is what allows you to follow multi-step directions, hold a phone number in your head while you write it down, or keep track of multiple things at once. Working memory depends heavily on the prefrontal cortex, which has a high concentration of estrogen receptors. When estrogen declines, this brain region becomes less efficient at maintaining and manipulating information. It's like having a computer with less RAM. It can still function, but it struggles when you try to run multiple programs at once. Consider Dorothy and Helen, both 68. Dorothy used to pride herself on being able to cook elaborate meals while helping her grandchildren with homework and keeping track of multiple conversations. But she started noticing that if someone interrupted her while she was cooking, she'd completely lose track of what step she was on. She'd forget ingredients she'd already added, or lose her place in recipes she'd made dozens of times. Helen experienced similar issues, but understood them as working memory problems related to hormonal changes. She adapted by breaking complex tasks into smaller steps and using external memory aids, which helped her maintain her efficiency. You might find yourself walking into the kitchen to get something and immediately forgetting what you came for. You lose your place in conversations when there are distractions. Following multi-step directions becomes challenging. You might remember the first step and the last step, but lose the middle steps. You struggle to keep track of multiple things happening simultaneously. This affects daily activities more than people realize. Cooking becomes stressful because you lose track of what you've done. Following driving directions while having a conversation becomes difficult. You might start avoiding complex tasks because they feel overwhelming when they never used to. Studies consistently show that working memory is one of the cognitive domains most affected by menopause. Women often report feeling like their brain can't handle as much information at once, and this is supported by objective testing that shows decreased performance on working memory tasks. When your working memory isn't functioning well, everyday tasks become more stressful because they require more mental effort. This creates a vicious cycle where stress further impairs cognitive function, making working memory problems even worse. Start using external memory aids without feeling embarrassed about it. Write down multi-step instructions, use lists for complex tasks, and break large projects into smaller, manageable pieces. Practice working memory exercises like mental math, memory games, or apps designed to challenge your ability to hold and manipulate information. Learn to work with your brain's current capacity rather than fighting against it. If you can handle 2 things at once instead of 5, adjust your approach accordingly. This isn't giving up, it's working smart while your brain heals and adapts. If you're recognizing these working memory challenges in yourself, comment "memory" below. Understanding that this is a common, treatable aspect of brain fog is the first step toward improvement. The third area that brain fog targets is your ability to control your attention and maintain focus. You might find yourself easily distracted by things that wouldn't have bothered you before, or struggling to concentrate on tasks that require sustained mental effort like reading, following TV shows, or having in-depth conversations. Estrogen helps regulate neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine, which are crucial for attention control. When estrogen fluctuates and declines, these neurotransmitter systems become less stable, making it harder for your brain to filter out distractions and maintain focus on what's important. Look at Rose and Betty, both 74. Rose used to be an avid reader who could spend hours absorbed in novels, but she started finding her mind wandering after just a few pages. She'd realized she'd read several paragraphs without absorbing any of the content. Watching movies became frustrating because she'd lose track of the plot when her attention drifted. She thought she was just getting bored easily. Betty experienced similar attention problems, but recognized them as brain fog symptoms. She started practicing focused attention exercises and modified her environment to reduce distractions, which helped her regain much of her ability to concentrate. You start reading a book or article, but find your mind wandering repeatedly. You lose track of conversations when there's background noise or activity. Watching complex TV shows or movies becomes difficult because you can't follow the plot. You find yourself frequently distracted by things that are happening around you, even when you're trying to focus on something specific. This isn't the same as ADHD, though the symptoms can seem similar. Menopause-related attention problems typically develop gradually in women who previously had good focus control. They're also often worse during times of hormonal fluctuation and may improve when hormones stabilize. Attention problems can make you feel scattered and inefficient. Tasks take longer to complete because you get distracted. You might avoid activities that require sustained concentration, like reading or detailed conversations, which can lead to cognitive deconditioning, where these skills become even weaker from lack of practice. Many women don't realize that their attention problems are made worse by environmental factors. Open floor plans, multiple conversations, background TV, and visual clutter can all make it much harder to maintain focus when your attention control is already compromised. Create a distraction-free environment when you need to concentrate. Turn off background noise, clear visual clutter, and eliminate interruptions. Practice focused attention exercises like meditation, mindful reading, or concentration games. Start with short periods of focused activity and gradually increase the duration as your attention span improves. Think of attention like a muscle that needs training. Start with 10-15 minutes of focused activity and gradually work up to longer periods. Choose activities you genuinely enjoy, as this makes it easier to maintain focus and provides positive reinforcement for your brain. Most women notice improvements in attention and focus within 4 to 6 weeks of consistent practice and environmental modifications. The key is being patient with yourself while your brain adapts to new hormone levels and rebuilds these cognitive skills. The fourth area that brain fog affects is your processing speed, how quickly your brain can take in information, understand it, and respond. You might notice that conversations feel too fast. You need more time to understand complex information, or you feel like your thinking has slowed down compared to how quick and agile your mind used to be. Estrogen supports the myelin sheaths that insulate neural pathways, helping electrical signals travel quickly through your brain. When estrogen declines, these protective sheaths can thin slightly, causing information to travel more slowly between brain regions. It's like having an internet connection that's still working, but at a slower speed. Think about Alice and Florence, both 69. Alice noticed that when her family gathered for dinners, she struggled to keep up with fast-paced conversations that jumped between topics. By the time she'd processed one comment and thought of a response, the conversation had moved on. She started feeling left out and thought maybe she just wasn't as smart as her family members. Florence experienced similar processing delays, but understood them as a common aspect of brain fog. She learned to ask people to slow down or repeat information, and she practiced mental agility exercises that helped improve her processing speed over time. Conversations feel like they're moving too fast, especially in groups where topics change quickly. You need more time to understand complex instructions or information. Mental math that used to be easy now requires more conscious effort. You feel like you're always a step behind in discussions or decision-making situations. This can be particularly frustrating because you know your intelligence hasn't changed. You just need more time to access and use it. Many women describe feeling like they're thinking through molasses or like there's a delay between their brain and their mouth. Slower processing speed can make you feel less capable or intelligent, especially in social or professional situations where quick thinking is valued. You might start avoiding situations where you feel pressured to respond quickly, which can lead to social isolation and decreased mental stimulation. While processing speed may not return to exactly what it was in your 20s or 30s, most women can significantly improve their mental agility with targeted practice. Your brain can develop more efficient pathways and learn to work around slower processing in certain areas. Practice mental agility exercises like brain training games, mental math, or rapid-fire word association. Read challenging material that requires active thinking. Don't avoid complex conversations or tasks. Instead, ask for the time you need to process information thoroughly. Let people know you might need a moment to think before responding. Learn to use your processing time more effectively. Instead of rushing to respond in conversations, take a moment to organize your thoughts. In group discussions, Don't be afraid to ask questions if you need clarification. Remember that thoughtful responses are often more valuable than quick ones. Reduce pressure when possible by choosing quieter environments for important conversations. When facing complex information, ask for it to be written down or broken into smaller pieces. Don't try to multitask when processing speed is already challenged. Improvements in processing speed typically take longer than other cognitive areas, often 3 to 6 months of consistent practice. However, most women find that even small improvements make a significant difference in their daily confidence and cognitive comfort. Now that you understand which areas brain fog hits first, let's talk about how to protect and restore your cognitive function effectively. The key is understanding that your brain is incredibly adaptable, even after menopause, and targeted interventions can make a dramatic difference. The recovery mindset. First, you need to shift from a defensive mindset to an active recovery mindset. Instead of just accepting cognitive changes or trying to hide them, approach them as challenges you can work on and improve. Your brain needs stimulation and challenge to maintain and rebuild neural pathways. The targeted approach. Rather than general brain training, focus specifically on the areas where you're experiencing difficulties. If word retrieval is your biggest challenge, prioritize verbal exercises. If working memory is the issue, focus on exercises that challenge your ability to hold and manipulate information. Building cognitive reserve. Cognitive reserve is your brain's ability to cope with damage or changes by finding alternative pathways. You build this through lifelong learning, social engagement, and challenging mental activities. Women with higher cognitive reserve tend to experience less severe brain fog and recover more quickly. The lifestyle foundation. Cognitive recovery requires a solid foundation of good sleep, regular exercise, stress management, and proper nutrition. You can't build cognitive strength on a foundation of poor sleep and chronic stress. These basics must be addressed first for cognitive interventions to be effective. Social connection importance. Regular social interaction, especially conversations that challenge your thinking, is crucial for maintaining cognitive function. Isolation makes brain fog worse, while engaging social activities provide natural cognitive exercise and emotional support. Hormone considerations. For some women, hormone replacement therapy can significantly improve cognitive function by providing the estrogen support that neural pathways need. This isn't right for everyone, but it's worth discussing with a healthcare provider who understands the cognitive effects of hormonal changes. The progressive approach. Start with easier cognitive challenges and gradually increase difficulty as your abilities improve. If reading has become difficult, start with shorter articles before attempting full books. If conversations are challenging, begin with one-on-one discussions before tackling group settings. Patience with the process. Cognitive recovery takes time, typically 3 to 6 months to see significant improvements, and up to a year for full optimization. Be patient with yourself and celebrate small improvements, rather than expecting overnight changes. If you're ready to start actively working on cognitive recovery, rather than just accepting brain fog, comment "recover" below and let me know which area you want to focus on first. Remember, your brain is capable of remarkable improvement at any age. Menopause brain fog isn't a life sentence, and it's not a sign that you're losing your mental capabilities permanently. It's a temporary disruption to specific cognitive areas: word retrieval, working memory, attention control, and processing speed, that can be addressed with understanding and targeted action. The women who regain their cognitive sharpness are the ones who refuse to accept brain fog as inevitable. They understand which areas are affected, they take targeted action to address each one, and they're patient with the recovery process while staying committed to cognitive improvement. Your brain at 60, 70, or 80 is still capable of learning, adapting, and improving. The neural plasticity that allows children to learn rapidly doesn't disappear with age. It just needs the right stimulation and support to function optimally. Don't let anyone tell you that cognitive changes are just part of aging, that you have to accept. While some changes are normal, the kind of brain fog that interferes with your daily life and confidence can be significantly improved with the right approach. You deserve to feel mentally sharp and cognitively confident. Your thoughts matter, your contributions are valuable, and your mind is worth fighting for. Take action today to reclaim your cognitive clarity and show the world what a sharp, experienced mind can accomplish. Thank you for watching this video. If it helped you understand what's happening with your cognitive function and gave you hope for improvement, please like this video and subscribe for more content about thriving cognitively at every age. Share this video with other women who might be struggling with brain fog and feeling like they're losing their mental sharpness. Understanding what's happening is the first step toward recovery, and every woman deserves to know that improvement is possible. Leave a comment below sharing which cognitive area you recognize as your biggest challenge and what you're going to do first to start addressing it. I read every comment, and I'm here to support you on your journey back to cognitive clarity. Remember, your brain fog is temporary, your intelligence is intact, and your cognitive future is bright. Here's to reclaiming your mental sharpness and feeling confident in your thinking again.